Hello and welcome to the first installment of the Computing from the Ground Up series. In this series, we'll be learning not only how to program in Python, but we'll be getting an intuitive understanding of how computers and programming languages work. I won't just be telling you the what of programming, coding with you following along. I'm also going to be trying to provide the how and why in order to give you a deeper understanding of what's going on behind the scenes. I'm going to be trying to make this series as accessible to those who are brand new to programming as possible, while keeping it interesting for those of you who perhaps already know another language or have had a bit of experience with Python in the past. The goal is for there to be something in it for everyone. So let's get started. Now, when I say we're installing Python, I really mean that we're installing a Python interpreter. Interpreters are programs which take the text of our Python program, figure out what it means, and execute it on demand. This is as opposed to a compiler, which differs in a number of ways. We'll be covering more on that later in the series. I'll likely be making a full video on interpreters in the near future. Perhaps we'll even be making one of our own for a much simpler language than Python. But for now, let's install the official interpreter for the latest release of Python, which at the time of recording is Python 3.7.3. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with the Windows and Mac installation process, because those are going to be very similar to each other. All we're going to do is go ahead and navigate to www.python.org/downloads in our web browser. We're going to scroll down and select Python 3.7.3. We're going to scroll down once we've gotten to this page and just go ahead and select the installer for our platform. My platform is Windows x86 64 because I have a 64-bit Windows machine. I'm going to go ahead and click that. However, if you are on a Mac, you can go ahead and select the appropriate macOS installer. Now with that installer downloaded, I'm going to go ahead and click on it. You may have to click on that within your downloads folder. And this is very important. We want to make sure that we click Add Python 3.7 to path. That's going to allow us to use this more easily from our command line later. Now I'm going to go ahead and press install now. And with that completed, we can go ahead and close the installer. And if all you Mac and Windows users will bear with me for a moment, we're going to go through how to install Python on Ubuntu. Now, you might want to pay attention to this even if you don't use Ubuntu on the daily, because I can almost guarantee you that at some point in your programming career, you're probably going to use Ubuntu, whether it's through a virtual machine, remotely on a server, or through a desktop environment. So here's how to do that. On Ubuntu, the key code for opening up the terminal by default is Control-Alt-T. So after having done that, you should see something that looks a bit like this, and we've got a few commands to type here. The first one is going to add a new software repository or personal package archive to our Ubuntu system so that it knows where to look for Python. The way we're going to do that is by typing the word sudo, short for super user, do, and then we're going to use the command add-apt-repository. apt is the repository manager by default in Ubuntu. And then we're going to type the following personal package archive, ppa:/ppa. And once you've got all of that, you can go ahead and press enter. You're going to need to enter your password. And you can go ahead and just press enter. And with that repository added, we now need to just go ahead and update our package manager by doing sudo apt-update. And then we can go ahead and press enter. And finally, we are ready to install Python 3.7 using apt. So the way that you do that is sudo apt-install, and then the name of the package is just Python 3.7 with no spaces. And you can go ahead and press enter. And you should see that the Python will be installed. As you can see, I've actually already got it on my Ubuntu system, but it should install successfully after having done this. Okay, with all that out of the way, what's left to do is to verify our Python installation. I'm going to go ahead and show how to do that on Windows using command prompt. I'll be honest with you, command prompt is not my preferred command line solution, if you will, but for now that's what we're going to use, and I'm actually going to make a little side video just for Windows users on how to get a little bit of an improved command line solution. But the commands that I type here are actually also going to apply to Ubuntu and Mac as well, with one minor exception, which we're going to go over first. So once you've opened up command prompt or terminal on your operating system, as it were, we're going to go ahead and type Python space -- version. And when I press enter, you'll see that I have Python 3.7.3 here. That's because this version of Python that we just installed is actually the first and only version of Python that I have on my computer in Windows right now. On Mac and Ubuntu, you probably will not see this. What you'll probably see is Python 2.7 or something along those lines. And that's because your operating system already came bundled with Python in the first place. So it's going to be aliased to something else. Chances are, on Mac, it will probably end up being aliased to Python 3. So this command will work for you. And on Ubuntu, it will be aliased to Python 3.7. if you followed the instructions on Ubuntu as I provided them. And you can see that that's not the case for me, but it may be the case for you. And I'm going to go ahead and leave all three of these aliases on screen. And if one of them doesn't work, I would recommend just also trying the other two. The only way to know for sure is just to try them all. And if none of them work, then I would say go ahead and restart your computer and try again. And if they still don't work, I would say probably try reinstalling. Okay, so with our alias worked out, for me it's Python. For you it could be Python, Python 3, or Python 3.7. We're going to go ahead and type that into our terminal now. So I'm just typing Python, and now I'm going to press enter. What you should see is at the top we have Python 3.7.3, and then at the bottom of the screen we should see 3 angle brackets. The 3 angle brackets means that the Python REPL, or read eval print loop, is waiting for a command. We're going to go ahead and try typing our first line of Python. And the way that we're going to do that is we're going to make Python say hello world. So let's do that now. All you're going to do is type print and then an open parenthesis. And then we're going to go ahead and type a single quote. And then we're going to type hello world. And we're going to type another single quote to close that string. And then we're going to go ahead and type a closing parenthesis. Once we've done that, we can just press enter and we should see the output. Hello world. So it was a success. Now let's go ahead and exit the REPL. To do that, we're just going to type the word exit and then an open parenthesis and a close parenthesis. Then we just press enter. And you should see that you have popped back out into your regular terminal. I hope you found this tutorial useful. This is the first ever video on my channel, so I'd really appreciate it if you would consider subscribing. It would help me out a lot. In the next few days, I'll be releasing the next installment in this series, in which we'll be writing our first Python module. See you then.